Here I am again. Hello, hello. Next up, I have an interview coming up for you from Printify. Latvian teams have been very active in Junction in the recent years. Actually, last year's winner, Tasupassu, was partly Latvian. Furthermore, the Riga hub of Junction this year is hosted at the Printify headquarters in Latvia, with COVID-19 restriction in mind, of course. But what is Printify? It is an online platform that connects merchants around the world, and it provides these printing services for them. It was founded in 2015 by 3 Latvian founders, and it has been the fastest growing startup. That's crazy. It has around 300 employees, and it started with 100 at the beginning of the year, so you can see how fastly they're growing. The main market of Printify is in the USA, and half of the team resides in Riga, but the rest are actually working remotely. So that's a really cool fusion. Today, I have the honor to interview the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer of Printify, Edgars Peics.
Welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, can you tell us a bit about Printify, the platform, the nuts and bolts behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as every new startup, you could imagine this has been created by 2 guys, basically doing a year in a garage, and then obviously building it for this one purpose of the business idea that as the business evolved, the code cannot evolve such quickly. So we actually are today dealing with the code that is built for other purpose, but now making it to be used for the purpose that Printify is very good at now. And this is this online marketplace. And obviously we use basic technologies as any startup that to quickly hit the ground running. So there's like basic PHP on a background, some Java, some Python, but on the front end, there's still quite a lot of backbone, but we are migrating to Angular. So we are in a process of starting never-ending process of refactoring, optimizing, and scaling a platform. So to keep up with the everyday needs of this super scaling platform. And if you grow 3 times a year for 4 years in a row, you could imagine. So there's a quite adrenaline necessary to quickly shape the code base.
Yes, of course. That's very impressive. What are the biggest challenges of building a marketplace platform?
I wanted to start just by most likely referring back to any normal classical product company that are millions out there. So imagine what is the challenge of the normal product company. So you build basically one product with all the features, trying to do the market research and make it happen and scale it, and all authentication and all data analysis and all the SO site search optimization thingies, and build affiliate business and referral programs and whatnot, just to make one product work. Printify, as the marketplace, we have to do at the same time both sides, 2 products at the same time, one for the merchants and integrate with the Shopify, Etsy platforms, eBay, and the like, and do all of this authentication, security, compliance, and all the interfaces and whatever else. At the same time, do the same for the print providers. Integrate tens of them with different APIs, different shapes of the technological lifecycle, and only then you can make one single transaction that will go through your platform. So it's twice the challenge of every single product company out there.
So you sort of work as a bridge builder in between the merchants and the print production companies. That's very nice. It's like a shared economy type. But
Yes.
I'd love to hear more about you. What is your background? Do you still code yourself when you're working in Printify, or are you just operating in the background?
Yeah, so I clearly remember my boy, now he's 13, but when he was, 1.5, he tried to pin the desktop of the desktop computer, trying to open some Windows icons, right, to launch some kind of games or something. This is the guy who actually, my kid who grew up with the iPad from the first day. For him, this was natural that you have to, click and open up something. When I grow up, I saw for the first time something that resembled computation device when I was 13. Obviously, it was like a crazy thing. There was like nothing in it. You had to code yourself for everything. You had to learn all the tips and tricks. There was no, community out there. I started it up myself, started to code the games for myself. When I was already finishing high school, I was able to build a sprite editor that was able to kind of, build the sprites for the game, because the character has to move the hands and the head and run. And so these things, I come from the coding background, have done a couple of really crazy projects in my life personally. But honestly, with the last maybe even 8 years, every time I'm able to get my hands on a code, I'm super happy. But this is so rare cases. And obviously, if I compare my code to my fellow colleagues now, I'm ashamed every time I do it. So that's why I'm a little, oh my God, I code only in secretly at home, right? So not anybody could see it. So that's me. Yes, I code, but I mean, not like for the money.
Okay. Well, that's always the challenge, the world is changing so rapidly, and then if it rewind like 10 years, everything is different. So how do you keep up with the latest trends? For example, okay, well, on the coding part, you aren't doing it sort of business mindedly anymore. You're just doing it for your own fun. Then how about the other trends of the current world?
I have morphed my capabilities. Actually, I have some couple of superpowers. And one of the superpower is that I really am good at interviewing people. And I have skilled myself in it because for one simple reason, this is the best way to learn horror stories, architecture patterns, new things that are emerging, or some things that never worked. And my head here, and as well the external memory of mine, is full with examples of life that you should never try it at home, right? So interviewing people is my first and primary source for getting the knowledge on the last many, many years now. Before COVID, it was easy to go to some conferences and be a check mark. Yes, something new, and then go home and read it. But now it's a little bit more tricky. So I have two things, or one thing that is kind of really important for me. There's O'Reilly resource online, really quality content. I follow up and see what's coming up, and I read up and see what is applicable to me. And the Tech Radar is quite good. At the CTO, I need to see where the trends are coming and where they are going. So that's good enough for me.
Okay, that's very interesting to hear. I mean, it's probably my first time interviewing people, so sorry if I make some really amateur mistakes, but I think so far this is going great. And it's very interesting. And that's absolutely true. Now that I'm interviewing you, I'm learning new information constantly, and then it's so inspiring and very interesting. So you mentioned COVID-19 and then how it has changed some of your doings and habits. So how has it affected Printify?
Oh my God. So need to tell you this. Let's see how the audience will perceive it. When the COVID hit the ground, we panicked. And a couple of things like what's going to happen, because our factories were closing down. Then, the garments were not shipped to the factories. The orders got stuck. The shipments was disrupted. Customers were complaining, where are my order? So it's kind of like vicious cycle that you can't get yourself out of it, because number of requests pile up and number of new orders are coming in. Factories are not able to produce because they are out of stock or they were closed. You think that's it. You're out of the business. But when you look closely, you realize, oh my God, we could, reroute these orders to those print providers that have the stock to print the items. Then you could do what? You could actually, snap a finger like this and get 100 customer support agents from Philippines to help you out to, tackle the backlog of all the tickets to satisfy all the merchants who have placed in orders. So you build an APIs to actually start monitoring remains or stock levels for the print providers to be able to route the orders where actually they have the capacity to produce it. So we have learned through this cycle from this COVID half of the year experience tremendous things, and we have added such a new features to our platform that we are now a little bit worried how this is going to scale now when the Christmas season is approaching.
Yes, and I mean, of course, it places a lot of logistical challenges, and I really like the logo of Spotify. You know, like in a blink of an eye, you get an idea, and then you snap your hands, and then you adjust to the situation. So you already mentioned Christmas. I mean, that's a new hassle. People love to buy online, and then there's a lot of shipments coming up. So, is it different this year? Have you prepared for this busy Christmas season?
I mean, how can you prepare for the thunderstorm or, I don't know, this orkan that hits the, we see in the news now and then when the America is hit by another one. It's so difficult. So we expect that in a week, it's going to go crazy. So what's going to happen? Let me just elaborate a little bit. The business people would be relaxing, clapping hands, dancing around the bonfire because the numbers would be coming in. And technical people would dig in. They would say, oh my God, pull the hair, take for adrenaline shots, live on Coca-Cola and, caffeine just to continuously keep the system up and running because we will hit 3, maybe 4 times the usual load. So what we have done technically, we have prepared, like move the servers to more powerful machines. We have done profiling of the system. We have added, what not in order to get ready for this. However, over the last year, we added almost 150,000 lines of new code. There is no test that could verify that we would be safe and sound. So we are ready for this. It's rock and roll. It's the adrenaline time for tech people. And this is what you actually strive for, to satisfy those business and actually, keep the platform running and see that it's actually all your efforts about scaling it.
I'm sure you will do just perfectly fine. You're like acting as a Santa Claus here. How do you see 2021 for Printify? After you have survived Christmas, there's an entire new year. What is the post-COVID-19, or if it's post, what will next year look like for the company?
Oh my God, anyone wanting free adrenaline, join us. There's a small problem. Business thinks that if they have done 3 or 4 years in a row, 3 times the yearly growth, we could do it more. So it's next year again. We're going to go where the ambition is to grow 3 times. And, when the numbers are small, there's no big problem. But when we are already a 100 million company, to grow it 3 times during a year, it's a little bit out of normal. So whatever we do here, it's nothing. It's anything else, but not ordinary.
And talking of non-ordinary, we would have never imagined that 2 years ago, remote working would be a norm today during COVID-19. So some of your team is located in Riga, others work remotely. So is leading a remote team a bigger challenge, or is it actually quite easy to adjust for engineers, or is it already a norm for engineers?
So 2 experiences. The ones that have worked together already and then working from home, basically almost there is no performance impact, or even maybe there's even productivity increase. But those that we are hiring now remotely, they have never felt the culture here at Printify. To come in and actually to onboard them into this one is enormous undertaking. We are doing extreme steps, kind of like, let's just mention a couple of things. So for example, we just for the new guys that we are just onboarding remotely, we are sending audiobooks. We have done a series of video recordings of how the job is being done, why we are doing this, just to explain, because today people are overwhelmed with the information. We have to just concisely give them what minimum necessary to be able to become up and running. So onboarding is a big challenge, and all the bright ideas are all welcome here. So we're trying out a couple of things. I think one more thing that is very important for me, remote people, when I hire those ones, they need to be a little bit more mature than the ones that you may afford to have in office. Because in office, in a crowd, in being together, they easily assimilate, they take the patterns of the rest of the team, they are growing up, and this is easy to monitor them. Remote people, you wake up in the same apartment where you're going to go to sleep, and you had an 8-hour workday in between. So you have to have some mental capability to do it nicely, plug it into your teams that are remote, that you have never met. So it's another set of challenge. And that's why I'm betting my money on more senior engineers working remotely for us, and more smarter, obviously.
But that is great to hear that it is a possibility to start these positions remotely for Printify, because I heard that you are actually looking for new employees. So now that you've been growing this fast every year and earlier years too, so are you looking to hire more engineers or some other type of employees too?
Business is hiring everybody, it looks like. So we're really growing like crazy. The interesting one is this. We actually, as a startup, after 5 years, this year we became profitable. And this is like this a big achievement for this startup, that you are able to grow, add the headcount, and still be profitable. So that means that the model itself works. And imagine if we are like now 300 people, there are only 30 engineers. 30. We're 30. You know everyone by name and last name. What does he have, a dog or cat, where he lives, what kind of car he drives. So everything is as a family. So we are adding a little bit slower, but now we are adding approximately 5 people per month. And the plan is that we would gonna grow our scale engineering team from 30 to, let's say, first of all, is 60 and then 90, hopefully by mid next year. And then let's see how this is gonna hold, because then you wouldn't be able to remember the names of all the dogs clearly.
Yeah, of course. So if you have a really tight-knit group, and then if you start adding more people to the group, of course, the team spirit will somehow damage or lack from that. But
Or converge
yeah,
into
true.
something else, or morph into something else, hopefully better.
Yes. But if you talk about the hardware, like what kind of technical competencies or experience and values are you looking for in this potential hiring person?
I'm actually the person who can code like, I can do BASIC, I could do .NET, I could do C++, I could do some Java also, obviously PHP and some HTML. So I'm quite versatile in what I can do. And the interesting part is that there's a lot of people kind of think that, oh, PHP, this is not a programming language. Are you kidding me, guys? Take a look. You could do even functional things in a PHP. And then this, obviously, then as the monolith and the things that we are now doing is in PHP. So we continued hiring, first of all, PHP. But we're looking for opening up an avenue of Node.js or Go. These are the two technologies that we believe that we could put our money for the future, and then slowly converge over those in the terms. So that's why when I'm looking for the talent, as of now, right now, I'm looking for the obviously PHP, senior guys that knows what is event sourcing, that knows how to work with Kafka, how to build up the microservices, asynchronous, decentralized, who has built the different kinds of APIs, back and forth, who are experienced with all the sockets and everything else. So all this is absolutely necessary right now. But for the future, we're looking for the Node.js developers and as well possibly Go developers. On the front end, we're migrating from Backbone to Angular, and Angular is a classical technology itself. So TypeScript and Angular are everything that we're looking for.
So yeah, our dear viewers, did you hear that? If you have all these competencies, please apply for Printify and check out their website. Now on to our last question of the interview. What can you tell us about life in Latvia for the people who are watching around the globe? I actually haven't personally ever visited the place, so I would love to hear more about what is it like.
Let me just give a personal story on this one. So my wife, obviously when you live in somewhere north, you get a little bit less sun than people who live in south or around the equator or the Mediterranean. So my wife all the time was a little bit whining that, hey, well, we need to move to Spain, we need to do this and do that. So we had that chance. We tried it out, and we realized that the best country actually on earth is home. And we came back. And we realized even you get here only like, I don't know, properly, maybe 50 or 60 sunny days a year. You have some proper rain, and there's a snow in the winter, and it could hit as well -20. It is an awesome place to be. There's an awesome nature. There is for the kids and the ability to grow your skills outside the official requirements from the school. This is an awesome place to be, and enjoy slowly Latvia. The recreation, the sporting activities, the culture. So this is awesome place to be. And there's something that Latvians has been as well proud of on a world scale. Like, for example, this folk and song festival that we held every 4 years. This is like national-wide event where all country comes together and sing for a week. If you haven't experienced it from within, it's difficult to believe that something like that could happen. But there is something like this.
That's
and
amazing.
Obviously, we cheer for the ice hockey team who only occasionally can beat Finns on the ice hockey. But I mean, we can't have it all.
Yes, so ultimately just life, good life, slow life, and 4 seasons, and enjoy all that it has to offer. Thank you so much for the interview, and for sure now that people have watched this interview, there will be hopefully a lot of potential employees checking out your website and then joining into your company. Thank you so much, Edgar, for your time. It was my honor to interview you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So thank you, Printify, for the insightful and inspired conversation. I believe we don't have any more program this Friday from Finland's side, so that's it for me. Good hacking, and then we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.